3 tips for stepping out of your limiting beliefs and into your calling. I am so excited to get into this call with you guys. I just know it's going to be super, super good. And this is just for aspiring content creators. I wanted to make sure that I did a live from a place that I know has been a pain point in my life. And I know that this is just something that I really needed to break out of in order to see some of the results that I was able to see, the rewards I was able to see. So I'm going to hop into giving you guys some information about myself, so you guys just have more of an understanding of who I am and why I even decided to do this live. So my name is Abriel Muse, and I was born in Toronto, Ontario, and I was living in Canada. And now I am in Texas with my husband and our toddler son, Shiloh, and our baby girl, Saith, who is on the way. And I have known since 2013 that I was called to content creation, but for years I flat out struggled. I had so many limiting beliefs. I just was struggling so much. I didn't see results. I started out my content creation journey with such high hopes. I thought I was going to blow up overnight, and literally none of that happened. For 8 years of my content creation journey, I didn't see results. It was dry. I lost my confidence. I had limiting beliefs, and it was just really, really hard for me. So some of the limiting beliefs that I struggled with, let me move this out the way. Some of the limiting beliefs that I struggled with were things like, will I ever be who God has called me to be? Will I ever find my voice in a saturated market? I don't have the ability to be consistent. What if I never see any results? I don't have the ability to show up for myself. I don't think I have it in me to do the work. I would tell myself all of these things, and it was so incredibly painful. I struggled just up and down, just the pain of knowing that you're called to something, but not seeing the results of that calling, or feeling like you're not impacting, feeling like you're a million steps away from the person that you think you need to be. That was very much my life for 8 years. And it really, really sucked. It was so painful. And I know I'm not alone. So here's what happened a couple of weeks ago. So I posted a story on my Instagram, and I asked other people to tell me, hey, do you have any limiting beliefs when it comes to content creation? What are your limiting beliefs when it comes to content creation? Like, let me know. And people started to tell me. I got so many responses, and obviously anonymously I was sharing them, and people were telling me, I'm not good enough. This person said, it was so bad. I know that I was supposed to start a YouTube channel a year ago, and I never did it because I just don't think I'm good enough. And I ended up running a poll asking, like, has any of you ever struggled with this same limiting belief? And 95% of people told me they did. And I was just responding to people's limiting beliefs. I was speaking life over them. To this person, I said, the question I would ask you is, what makes you good enough? What is the narrative that you are believing about what makes someone good enough? The truth is, if God has called you to it, then you are the perfect person for the job, and no one will ever be able to do it like you. And that makes you good enough. This person ended up saying the thought that the idea may or may not work. And that was something that I very much struggled with as well. I told them that, like, hey, this belief created a ceiling for me. But this is a major limiting belief, because the only way that you're not going to see results is if you don't try. That is a full guarantee that if you just allow this limiting belief to determine your inaction, then you're not going to see the results that you want to see. And I was just basically sharing with them. And I asked people in my stories, I said, hey, have you ever struggled with this limiting belief as well? And they said, yes. 96% of people said, yes, they feel the same way. Then someone else said, there are thousands of others doing similar things and doing them better than me. And I said, what do others have to do with the work that God has called you to? No one will ever be able to do it like you. And that's why God called you. Someone else said that I can't do it in general. And I basically told them, I used to repeat this to myself as well, but that's a lie. The gift is always on the inside of you. The gift was always on the inside of me. And I just had to prove myself wrong by consistently showing up for myself. So here are some other examples of limiting beliefs. I want you guys to let me know in the chat if you have ever had any of those limiting beliefs that I just mentioned that some people wrote into me on my Instagram, or let me know as well if you have any of these examples. So some other examples of limiting beliefs are, I don't have the creativity to create good content consistently. I don't believe I can show up as myself online. I'm not sure if people will like me. I'm not sure if I'm a likable person. I don't believe I have the ability to attract an audience. I don't look good enough. So these are just some of the limiting beliefs that other people have shared with me. These are some of the limiting beliefs that I've had. Let me know in the chat if you've actually struggled with this as well. I see some people saying yes. Yes, yes, yes. I honestly, most definitely, yes. Yes, it really sucks. Like it actually really sucks because it just creates an obstacle for you and it just makes you feel like you cannot advance. You cannot, it's like an enemy of progress, honestly, when we have all of these beliefs in our minds. So something I want you guys to know is that we give our limiting beliefs too much power when we keep them concealed. And the best way to start to deal with them is to bring them into the light so that we can do away with them. So let me tell you guys what happened last year. So this was very much my story from 2013 all the way up until 2021. So that's 8 years of knowing I was called, of struggling so much with my limiting beliefs, not seeing the results I wanted to see. And then last year enters the chat. And at this point, I'm just tired. I'm sick and tired. I'm tired of knowing that I'm called and not doing much about it. I'm tired of feeling discouraged because I truly believe that even if I started to be consistent, I wouldn't see results. I actually felt at that point in 2021 that it was way too late for me. I was just like, platforms are so saturated. There's no way that I'm going to see results at this point because it's just too late for me. And I also didn't think I had the ability to be consistent because all I knew up until that time was inconsistency. So I just felt like my beliefs got to a point where it was like I needed to make a decision. So then my loved ones enter the chat. Let me move this over here. So here's my husband and here's my dear friend Amanda, and they both enter the chat now. And they're just speaking life into me. And I'm telling them, like, this is what I think. I'm bawling my eyes out, like telling them, I know I'm called. This is so hard for me. Like, I just don't know how I'm ever going to be the person that I need to be to see the results that I need to see. And my husband, amazing, like business owner. He has a 6-figure business and he's been able to build his audience on YouTube, which I think is an incredibly hard platform to grow on. And he was able to grow his audience to over 86,000 subscribers on YouTube. My dear friend Amanda, she's been able to grow her audience on Instagram to over 148,000 followers. And they both were giving me strategy, speaking life into me, and showing me like, we haven't done this because we're better than you. We haven't done this because of whatever the case is. It's been work, strategy, and just pushing through despite the limiting beliefs that they might have had in the beginning. And they broke out of them. And seeing people so close to me encourage me and push me in that way really made me want to actually do this thing. So Amanda came to me and was like, hey, let's just do a 30 days Reels challenge. Like, let's just do it. What is the worst that can happen? Do this 30 days Reels challenge with me and let's start breaking out of some of these beliefs. So as I was starting to break out of my limiting beliefs, I was actually starting to do the work. And I started to see change. So I started to shed my limiting beliefs. I grew in my confidence. I started showing up online as my full authentic self. And then I started to see results. And these were the kinds of results that I was seeing. As you guys can see, I did a screenshot of like my analytics and the reels, like my most popular reels. And I was hitting crazy numbers. Like you guys can see like my top 4 reels are over 1 million, which is crazy to even think that I was able to do that. You guys can see that in between July and August, I was able to hit over 31.5 million accounts in terms of reach. And now I am now sitting at 51,000 followers on Instagram. If somebody came to me, this is the truth. If somebody came to me last year and said, hey, Abe, if you start your content creation journey, you're going to be sitting at 51,000 followers, I would not have believed them. I would not have believed them. I would have thought like, you're tripping. There's no way, no way. Like I can't. And I know 51,000 followers is not the most followers in the world. Like there's so much more that I have to go. But at the time, and even now, like this is still amazing for me because I know my story. I know my history. I know the struggle. So painful, but to be able to see these results have been so beautiful. So this takes me into the first tip. I wanted to give you guys all this backstory on me so that you guys could understand that this truly is coming from a pain point, okay? This is not something that I'm just out here talking about to talk about it. I'm talking about it because I know the struggle and the pain that came with it. So the first tip to breaking out of your limiting beliefs and stepping into your content creator calling is knowing that you have to believe that God has called you despite how you feel about yourself. The conviction to walk in your calling has to be bigger than how you feel. So a lot of the times what happens is we idolize our insecurities and our feelings over what we know to be true. We make that the end all be all, how we feel, how we think, and we just dwell on it, we think on it, and it determines so much inaction in our life because we don't want to stay true to our convictions. So even for me, I knew for 8 years that I was called to the content creation space. Like I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. I felt like I was on the sidelines knowing that I was supposed to be a part of that team. I would see other content creators killing it and blowing it out of the water. And I would just feel like, yes, I'm happy for you, but I know I'm supposed to be a part of that. And I felt like an outsider in a space that I wasn't supposed to be an outsider in. But the reason why was because I was idolizing my fears and my insecurities and my limiting beliefs and allowing them to create this huge ceiling for me. And allowing it to determine a lot of inaction and inconsistency. And I was just never going to see any change or impact the people I wanted to impact if I continued to remain in that space. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. How would you feel if you continue to let those limiting beliefs determine your inaction? How would you feel if 10 years from now, you were still in the exact same place? Like 8 years is a long time. Like to think that 2013 to 2021, that's how long it took for me to just make a decision, for me to actually like do the work, for me to find strategy to make the changes. That's a long time. And I don't want it to be that long for you guys. I don't know how long it's been for you guys. I don't know how long you know that you've been called to the content creator space. I don't know what your specific timeline has looked like, but I do know that if you don't make a change, then you're still going to be in the same place even 10 years from now. And here's the truth. If you don't make a decision and weigh your convictions more than your limiting beliefs, then you will be in the same place that you are today. And I don't want that for you. So tip number 2, extraordinary people understand that they have to be uncomfortable to walk in their callings, and they have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It just does not feel good to step out, to start putting yourself out there, to start showing yourself online, Especially if you feel like you're not 100% sure of what you're doing, you're not sure of your strategy, it doesn't feel good. It's an uncomfortable process. It's going to feel uncomfortable to create the content, to not see the results right away, because you might not see the results right away. It's just going to feel uncomfortable, but your calling comes at a cost, but the reward is great. So I put a little picture of a pregnant woman. I'm pregnant right now, as many of you may know, but I put a picture of a pregnant woman because that's very much the journey of pregnancy. You know, there's 9 months of maybe nausea, of like not feeling your best, of just maybe like lack of sleep, you know, waking up multiple times in the night, discomfort. Like I took like a 2-hour nap today because I was I felt so much bodily discomfort. I was like, I would rather sleep right now. And obviously I'm at the very, very end of it too. So it's like in full swing of bodily discomfort. But I know that the reward is going to be great. At the end of this pregnancy, when baby decides she's going to be here, we're going to be able to look at our baby. I'm going to be able to see just, wow, all this 9 months was worth it. The reward is great because now I get to see her face. Now I get to see my husband be a father to a daughter. I get to see my son be a sibling to a sister. There's all of these beautiful things that I get to see because I went through this really hard 9 months of just discomfort, you know, and that's very much the journey. Like we have to get used to doing things that we're uncomfortable with because it is what it is. You're not going to be comfortable. Also, part of the reward that I've been able to see is impact and fulfillment and alignment. So being able to get comments like this on my post saying, thank you for sharing this. I needed this. Thank you for letting God use you. Beautifully said, right on time. Thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. The amount of people that I truly would have robbed, like even in the last year, the amount of people that I would have robbed if I continued to go another year, just not making any changes, if I continued to go another year, just letting my limiting beliefs determine my inaction, I wouldn't experience the reward of the alignment, of the fulfillment, of just the sweet, sweet moments of impact where I get to see people in my DMs, I get to see people responding to my posts and knowing like, wow, something that I created, that I put out there is touching you, is impacting you. And there's nothing sweeter than that. It feels so, so good. And I want you guys to be able to experience that feeling, that fulfillment that comes with that. And just knowing that you're walking in what you're called to, there's nothing sweeter, but it's going to take work on your part, just like it took work on my part. And that leads me to tip number 3, do the work. There's no way around it. The only way to reinforce new beliefs and encourage new behaviors is to do the work. Okay, so yes, you're going to start breaking out of your limiting beliefs. Yes, you're going to start doing the work. But as you're doing the work, you're going to show yourself what you're actually made of. And that's very much what happened with me. So like I said at the beginning of the webinar, I said one of my limiting beliefs was, I don't think I have the ability to be consistent, because all I knew at that time was just inconsistency. But then as I started to do the work and I started to show myself that I could be consistent, and I started to see the impact I was having with that consistency, it broke that belief. Now I don't believe that. Even though that was a belief I had for years, now I don't believe that anymore. I know that was a lie. I know that wasn't true, because now I've been able to see what my consistency has been able to do, and it's proved me wrong. So sometimes we believe the lie that we will do the work when we become a different version of ourselves. Do any of you guys relate? I just need to know, do any of you guys relate? Because I used to say, oh, like maybe 10 years from now or like 7 years from now, I'll actually be the kind of person that does the work. I'll be the kind of person that is consistent. I'll be this kind of person, or whatever the case is. Maybe it's not 7 years for you guys, but that's very much how I used to think. I used to think like, oh, like that kind of person is going to do the work. I always had to make it this far off thing for it to even conceptualize in my brain. But the truth is, We'll never see the version of ourselves that is confidently showing up online and impacting others if we don't do the work. Consistent action will help to reinforce the new beliefs about ourselves. So I want to give you guys some homework, just because I just feel like there's no point on doing a live where I'm giving you all this information and then there's nothing after it. So the homework that I'm giving you guys is I want you to set a date and time that you're going to start creating content consistently. I should have put that in there with bold words, but I want you to set a date and time for that. I want you to write it down. I want you to set a reminder in your calendar, and I want you to stick to it. And I know how human beings work. So I know very well that you could set this date and time, write this down in your calendar, even set a reminder and still not do it. So I also want you to get an accountability partner, someone that will hold you to the date that you set. Tell somebody immediately after this live or tomorrow morning, like, hey, this is the date that I set that I'm going to actually start showing up for myself and doing the work and just showing up consistently online. This is the date that I set. Please hold me to it. Another really good thing that you could do that helps out a lot is you could actually, I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable to do this, but it will actually force you to actually stick to what you said you're going to do, is you can say, like, if I don't show up on this date and time, then I'm going to give you $20. And if I don't show up on this date and time, then I'll give you another $20. And if I don't show up, and that kind of reinforces, like, nobody wants to just be giving money away, so you could do that. But I want you to do this. So please, tonight, set a date and a time, write it down when you're going to start to show up consistently online. Okay. So this leads me to Create Masterclass. This is the content creation course that I created, and I know that I needed in 2013. So this course is designed to help you break out of your limiting beliefs, create effective content, and attract a dedicated audience. I am so excited about this course because, like I said, I know that I needed this course back in 2013. I needed it in 2014, 2015, 2016. I really needed this. And inside of Create, you're going to have 6 modules. It's filled with almost 5 hours of information. Okay. And I collaborated with Amanda, who has her Reels Masterclass. I collaborated with my husband, who did a whole module on massive action. I collaborated with a friend of mine named Jonna, who runs a whole brand strategy business, and she's going to teach you how to run your personal brand. And then obviously myself, where I go over addressing your limiting beliefs surrounding content creation. I go over creating content that aligns with you. I go over the strategy behind creating content that attracts the dedicated audience, because there is strategy. I don't want you guys to think that I just started creating content and willy-nilly. Like, that was actually part of the problem for me the first 8 years. Like, I was creating content willy-nilly and expecting to see results, but there is actually strategy that had to go into it. Also, like I said, my husband, he's going to be doing module 4, where he's going to be talking about action and how he's been able to grow on, I think, one of the hardest platforms by taking massive action, brand strategy. And then also we do like a quick overview of YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and like just what platforms you feel called to. We talk about that. We talk about how you should show up on each platform, the strategy behind that, and all of that. So I also threw in some bonuses. If you get the full package, you're going to be able to get a one-on-one call with me, where I'll be addressing your specific limiting beliefs. I'll be conducting an audit of your social media, and I'll be giving you next steps and strategy for how you should continue to show up. A 30-day content calendar that will really just take like the overthinking and the stress out of creating content. And then a content prompt exercise that's going to help you with just brainstorming and all of that. And then, like I said, Amanda Pittman's Reels Masterclass, she just last year was at 30,000 followers on Instagram, and now she's at 148,000. So she used Reels solely to grow her audience, and that is just an amazing feat. So she threw in her masterclass as well inside of the course Create. So I'm going to do a special bonus for those of you guys that are on this call. The first 10 enrollments after this live call will get a group mastermind call with me, where we're going to talk about my proven content creation strategy that has helped fast track to my audience growth in such a short period of time. Any questions you may have that you need answered about your specific content creation journey, and then accountability partners. I'm going to make sure you guys actually walk away with the built-in accountability on that mastermind call, and have you guys partner together and just kind of create a community together so that you guys can cheer each other on as well. So doors to my program close on Sunday night. So if you are serious about this, then head on over to www.avrielmuse.com. I'll also put it in the chat. I really don't want you to miss out on this amazing program. I really put so much time, effort, and energy into this because I was thinking about you guys. And I genuinely mean that. I was really thinking about what did the older version of myself really need during that time. And I put all of that in there because I needed to make sure that you guys walked away with change, you guys walked away with impact. And I want you guys to be really decisive and move quickly because, like I said, doors close in 2 days, 2 nights. But also, we already have some spots filled up for the first 10 enrollments. So I just want you guys to move quickly if you really want to make sure that you can get in this mastermind call. So next is some Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I just want to know what you guys, any questions that you guys may have. And I want to be able to actually tune into the chat because I haven't really been able to tune into the chat. All right, so someone said, how much is the masterclass? Okay, so the masterclass is actually originally $797, but until Sunday, until doors close, I'm offering it to you guys for $497 at the full package, but you can also do a payment plan if you can't pay the full $497 outright. And then I'm also offering just the course. Like if you don't want any of the bonuses and all that extra stuff, I'm also offering just the course for $297. Someone said, how long will the course take? Can I do it at my own pace? Yes. So the course is a self-paced course. That is the goal. I wanted to make sure that it was self-paced just because I know that, you know, we all have just busy lives and not everyone can take it at the time that we think that we can take it or within the time I think someone might be able to take it. So yes, it's definitely a self-paced course, 110%. You should be able to complete it within 4 weeks. That's what I say, a 4-week self-paced course, but you can do it within less than that or more than that. Someone said, when will the group mastermind start? Okay, so that's a really good question. Once I have the people, when I have it all filled up, the spots filled up, I'm going to send out an email, and you're going to get an email immediately about this once you sign up for the course. So you'll get all that information. But the hope is to be able to do the mastermind next week or the week after. I just want to make sure that I have everybody funneled in first. If there are no other questions, then I'm going to hop off. Like I said, I don't want to take all of your guys' time, but I really want to thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited about Create Masterclass. I'm excited about you guys hopping in. If there are any other questions, just feel free to email me. And yeah, I think that is mainly it. It was so good hanging with you guys tonight. Bye.